Our area's most beautiful properties deserve the finest realtors. Meeks Realty Group. We focus on buying and selling residential and commercial properties throughout the tri-state area. Contact Meeks Realty Group online at meeks.us or call 304-440-1101.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. 580 Live is presented by Thornhill Automotive and is broadcast live from the Parmar Stores studio. The country, the United States of America. The state, West Virginia. The city, Charleston. This is 580 Live. And your host of 580 Live.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Thursday morning to you from the Parmar Store Studio. 580 Live brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group, the voice of Charleston, WCHS, Bigly, Piggly Wiggly Hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. 580 Live brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group, including the new Thornhill Toyota, where the celebration continues. Come check out the all-new Camry, the versatile RAV4, the new Tacoma 2. Drive away with a smile on your face and money in your pocket with Thornhill. Click or come by ThornhillToyotaWV.com or on US 119 in Chapman. Then we do the show from the Parmar Store studio. If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon, including their newest location, which just opened this morning. It's in Bell Valley, Ohio. Now, that's just off I-77, about 30 miles north or so of Marietta. If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon. High school football, love it, indeed. And Fred Persinger is the voice of high school sports in West Virginia. He's going to join us in the second segment. The high school football season actually got started last night with the game that was broadcast live on the Metro News channel and also on AT&T Sportsnet. And we're going to talk to Fred a little bit about that game. It really gets going, though, in the Kanawha Valley tonight and certainly tomorrow night. Fred will give us a little preview of what to expect from high school football. Former Mayor Danny Jones is going to stop by the studio as well. The GOP debate was last night, and I want to get Danny's take on that. But I want to talk a little regatta right now. Tim Brady with the Charleston CVB, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, joins us now. Tim, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. Great to be here.
I had to ask you this, something I want to ask you every time that you've been on the show. You did your time in radio,
sure,
but you escaped. Do you ever miss doing radio? I know it has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about, because I'm going to tell you, I'm not sucking up to the gas here, but you have probably one of the best natural voices for radio that I've ever heard. I wish I had that. I don't. But do you ever miss your radio days?
You know, I will tell you that there are times when I do, and one of those times was about 2 minutes ago when you started talking about bringing Fred in the second block to preview high school football. Pre-CVB days, I hosted a show very similar to this in the Clarksburg market, and Fred was always coming up through Clarksburg Bridgeport on Friday mornings to do Metro News Game Night on Fridays in Morgantown, and he would stop in Clarksburg, and we would do half an hour on Friday mornings previewing that week's high school football schedule. And that's the stuff that I miss. I miss hanging out in a studio with Fred Persinger. I miss one of my best friends is Travis Jones, who does Bridgeport High School, MEC Sports up in the Clarksburg market. He and I did Bridgeport football for about 15 years together. On Friday nights in the fall, I start to get a little bit of an itch, and it's odd to not be in a press box somewhere talking about high school.
Smell of popcorn, nachos.
That's the stuff I miss. You know what I don't miss is getting up at 4:30 to have drive time news ready for 6 a.m.
I get that.
I don't miss that. Hey, before we talk regatta, just real quick, I do think it would be appropriate if we just mentioned this morning, rest in peace to WWE Hall of Famer Terry Funk.
Yes.
Legend, hardcore legend, king of the death match, a career that spanned continents and decades, and passed away yesterday. So I wanted to say rest in peace to Terry Funk. this morning.
Absolutely.
Because I know you're a wrestling guy.
I'm old school wrestling. I quit watching about the early 90s.
Well, there's nothing more old school than Terry Funk, right?
Exactly right about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk regatta numbers. They were revealed during a press conference at City Center at Slack Plaza last week. In case anyone may have missed them, let's kind of take it from the top, work our way down.
Sure.
Overall, the numbers for regatta.
So an estimate of 220,000 attendees over the course of the 5 days. 20% of those were visitors from beyond a 50-mile radius. And we define a visitor as someone who comes from 50 miles away or beyond and spends at least 2 hours in the city. And of those folks, 65% of our visitors stayed overnight. 20% of those visitors were from out of state. A total economic impact of $37.2 million and an event that supported 7,948 jobs in the Metro Valley. So,
okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal over the course of 5 days.
And Tim, you're in the economic projection business at some point, at least a portion of your day sitting back saying, okay, this is what we did. This is what we expect to do in the future. Mm-hmm. But, when the idea was first discussed about bringing the regatta back, did you have any idea that it would be this big? I
had no frame of reference because I didn't live in Charleston during the first iteration
Nor
of
did
regatta, and I never experienced it. I never attended a regatta. Of course, I'd heard stories over the years about the massive crowds and the event itself, but I had no frame of reference personally, so I went into that first year just not knowing what to expect.
I think we have. Are you okay with taking a phone call?
Sure.
Oh, okay. All right. I think we have a phone call for you. Mm-hmm. You're a popular guy.
Sure.
Have you got Chris there for us? Or Chris, you're on with Tim Brady. Go ahead.
Morning, fellas.
Yeah.
It's the big bad jackal.
Okay.
I wanted to make a statement about former police chief.
Okay.
Hunt.
Okay. Can we wait? We're talking about regatta right now.
What? I want to talk about regatta too.
Okay, let's just keep it on regatta right now. Then maybe because I think Danny Jones is going to talk about that a little bit later on. Maybe you can call back when Danny's on. How's that?
Oh, 2 calls in one day. Are you sure the Kanawha County can handle it?
Keep this one to Tim on regatta and the regatta numbers, and then you can call back and talk to Danny later. Go ahead.
I am super glad that Mayor Goodwin brought the regatta back to Charleston. Regatta used to be the best party in America, and it feels like we got it back these past couple of years, and it makes Charleston feel whole again. And
that's I'm going to jump in and say
a big part of our culture is regatta.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Dave, when we talk about regatta and we talk about economic impact, and it's certainly enormous. The other thing that I like to talk about when we're talking about regatta in the media is the social impact, the community impact of regatta, because just like this guy was saying, it gives people a sense of community, a sense of place, a sense of pride in where they live. And one of the things that we look at the Convention and Visitors Bureau, we study why people come to Charleston. And the number one reason that people visit Charleston, West Virginia, is to visit friends and family. So what's more impactful than creating an event that not only drives all of this economic impact, but also generates this real sense of community pride and makes people remember why they love living in the city where they do? Because when people are happy where they live, they're more apt to invite their friends and family. So really for us, we look at regatta as this sort of generating engine that, yes, it generates a lot of economic impact, but it generates a lot of sense of place, a sense of pride, and then that encourages people to invite more friends and family to come. So it drives our tourism up overall throughout the course of a year. So that, that community impact to us is significant as well.
You've got a really smart guy on the radio with you today.
Which one are you talking to?
You've got a really smart guy on the radio with you today.
Okay.
I'm not talking about myself for one.
Okay.
I appreciate that. I want to throw out a couple of other things, Dave, too, that we found interesting. We study where our...
Please add to what you said, sir.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. I didn't realize you were still on the line.
Go ahead.
I love regatta. I grew up with regatta. I grew up with regatta and the bad beer fights. I grew up with regatta and Willie Nelson on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
regatta is what makes West Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia, especially special. We need to keep celebrating regatta. We need to keep bringing back the paddle boats. We need to dig deeper into our roots because it's who we are and what we are. And that's what makes us feel good.
All right. I appreciate your phone call.
I think that's great. And that's it, right? It's community pride. It's what it's all about for us. Yes, it's economics, but it's also, generating that sense of place.
One of the things I thought that was really interesting, what you said and what was revealed last week when the numbers came out, was again the number of people from out of the area that came to Charleston. I mean, that totally blew me away that you had the number of people that came from D.C.
Yeah, we look at those origin markets, and the state of West Virginia is always our number one tourism market for Charleston. So the Charleston-Huntington metro area that, draw a 50-mile radius around Charleston and close in, that was the number one origin market for our visitors. Number 2 was D.C., 3 was Pittsburgh. And that D.C. market is super significant to us because we know through our own research that D.C. visitors spend about 44% more than other visitors. They have more disposable income. So when those folks come, they're spending more money. So it was really great to see D.C. show up so high in city of origin for regatta.
What kind of marketing did you do in those years to get those people? Because they have to find out about it some way.
Yeah, so we did a lot of digital advertising in different markets. We identify what our drive markets are. We research 12 months a year. We know on a regular basis where our visitors are coming from. So we employ a fish where the fish are kind of philosophy. If we know that we're getting people from D.C., Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland, those places, that's where we spend money with digital advertising to promote regatta. We do a lot of social digital, a lot of Google-based, place-based advertising. We did a little bit of print through some regatta or some stern wheel specific publications. But yeah, I mean, we know where our origin markets are, that we have success, and we go after more of those people.
What do you hear from the business people in Charleston as far as the folks that operate the restaurants and things of that nature?
You talk to some of the restaurant owners and they'll tell you that those are their busiest days of the year. And I can remember last year specifically a couple of local restaurant owners that said that during regatta they broke all of their sales records during the event. I've not really been involved this year with a lot of the business outreach, and we've not had a wrap-up meeting yet, but when we do, I think we'll probably get some more of that anecdotal evidence about how successful it was for vendors. I know it's good for the food trucks, it's good for the restaurants, but I haven't had a lot of specific conversations this year personally. Exactly
what goes, and this is a text that we got here, and then we'll let you go. Somebody asked about exactly how do you determine the economic impact? I mean, what goes into that? So
first of all, it's done by people that are way smarter than me. I can sound smart. I'm not really that smart. But in a nutshell, it's like this. We get an attendance estimate from the and we'll do this for events throughout the city, not just regatta. We get an attendance estimate for the free events. For ticketed events, it's easy. You know how many people showed up. But for the free events, we'll get an attendance estimate, and then we put that number along with some other ancillary figures like food and beverage sales, merchandise sales, carnival ticket sales, things like that, all go into a web-based calculator that's provided by Destinations International, which is an internationally recognized tourism research firm. I just plug the numbers into their calculator, and it spits the numbers back out at me. And as far as the estimates on visitors and the percentage of attendees that were visitors, we work with another national company that does third-party cell phone and credit card data research, and so they draw some lines around your area, and they study the people that are using their devices in that area at the time, so they can come up with some estimates on where those visitors are coming from and how many of the total attendees were from outside of a 50-mile radius. So we just basically take all of that, put it into a web-based program through a recognized tourism research firm, and it gives you the number.
So where does it go from here, in your opinion, Regatta?
There's nowhere to go but up, right? I mean, I think that the first couple of years, just as someone who's watched it, and I've not been involved on the logistics side, but I think you step back and you look and you say the first couple of years are always, let's figure out what we're doing.
Right.
And I think we're in a place now where we can really make this thing even better because we're working the kinks out and we're working the bugs out as we go. Both from a marketing standpoint, where all of this research is valuable to us. We'll spend more money in D.C. and Pittsburgh next year and bring more of those folks in. And on the logistics side, I know the folks that are working on that side, they're already making notes about ways to make next year better. So we take what we do on the marketing side and what the logistics folks do that run the event, we put that all together, and I think the sky's the limit, Dave.
All right. Well, we'll be watching because this is a busy time. You think, okay, regatta's over.
Yeah.
No, that's not the way it works.
And I feel that specifically because we've got a big event coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'd love to come back, Dave, and talk to you about it in more detail. But September 5th through 10th, we're hosting the USA Men's Olympic Volleyball. The men's national volleyball team will be in Charleston playing 7 other countries in a men's international volleyball tournament. It's the last time the men's national team will play in the United States before the Paris Olympics in 2024. It's called the Norseca Men's Championships, and it's going to be incredibly high-level men's volleyball, and they'll be in Charleston for 5 days the first week of September.
Yeah.
So, no
we'll
rest after regatta, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think about it because regatta's not all, and I know a little bit about CVBs. I'm involved with the one at Putnam County, and I can tell you it's I'm working on this event while I'm also looking at this event. I'm looking at this event. So
no time to rest on your laurels.
Plenty of events between now and regatta because that's just another. I mean, it's a big event, but for your purpose in your office, it's just another event.
It's just one more thing.
It's just one more thing you got to do. Tim, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, man. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Tim Brady from the Convention and Visitors Bureau here in Charleston. Phone calls to 580 Live is service of Biggly Piggly Wiggly. Texting service is provided by Fruth Pharmacy, your hometown family pharmacy. Talking high school football with Fred Persinger and Danny Jones. Coming up from the Parmar Store Studio. 580 Live is brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for supporting local small businesses.
Get ready for the ultimate summer savings at the new Thornhill Toyota Celebration. Hey, it's Sydney, inviting you to the Thornhill Motor Mile to take advantage of our red, white, and vroom savings. Upgrade your ride with unbeatable deals on our top models, from the sleek Camry to the versatile RAV4 or the all-new Tacoma. We have the perfect car for your summer adventures. You can drive away with a smile on your face and money in your pocket. Click or come by ThornhillToyotaWV.com or US 119 in Chapmanville for the summer celebration. See Thornhill for full details.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I am often asked, what is the value of my case? The answer, of course, depends on your injuries, liability, and the damages to you financially. And it also very much depends on the law firm you hire to represent you. All firms are not the same. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been here at your time of need. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
Elevators. You take them for granted until they let you down. If you're working to maintain a stellar reputation, then let me introduce you to DC Elevator. We want to work with you to make sure your people get where they are going. What could be better than a new company coming to the area and already having 45 years of experience? DC Elevator is bringing a new culture of elevator maintenance, repairs, modernization, and installation to West Virginia. Don't leave your people hanging. For a free consultation, call DC Elevator at 304-345-7222.
Reckless big government policies are putting the American dream out of reach. We all know Washington is broken, but it doesn't have to be. Senator Joe Manchin could be part of the solution if he stood up for West Virginia values. Instead, he voted with Joe Biden on the Inflation Reduction Act, which led to higher taxes, trillions in new spending, and tens of thousands of new IRS agents. Tell Joe Manchin, Mountaineers want real, common sense solutions. To learn more, visit prosperityispossible.com. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
926, music superstar Lana Del Rey is coming to the Charleston Coliseum Convention Center October 5th. You can register to win tickets at WCHSnetwork.com/tickets by this Friday, today and tomorrow. It's what you got to do. And then tune into Metro News Hotline daily, weekly, and Coop will choose one lucky winner to play Hotline's Too Easy to Fail quiz between 3 and 6. You don't want to miss a chance to catch Lana Del Rey at the Coliseum Convention Center, brought to you by Metro News Hotline. Text says, I love that Regatta is back. The only thing I would like to see happen would be to put it back on the original Labor Day like it was for decades. Doing that to bring back the grand feature parade with our school bands, go back to starting school after Labor Day. Well, Regatta folks can't do anything about school starting, and that's the whole reason why it was moved, was because school and high school football and everything, starts much earlier than what it used to. Text says, Dave, it baffles me how these city officials tout the successes of their parties, but disgustingly duck, dodge, and dive when it comes to accountability for bad acts and corrupt cops. Community pride is not based on your ability to have a party. West Virginians will always party. True that. We deserve accountability and truth, according to a texter. This guy always tells the truth. Fred Persinger, how are you, man?
I'm well. Had the 3 Ds.
Yes.
Duck, dodge, and dive.
Indeed it is. High school football season is here. Officially, Fred, started last night. Speaking of starting early, it started last night. We'll continue for most teams tonight and certainly tomorrow night. We'll have coverage of the War on 34 from Winfield and Hurricane tonight. It's that time again, man.
It is. Love it, love it, love it. We've got a total of 57 games this weekend. One played last night. We'll have a total of 5 tonight, 50 on Friday night, and 1 on Saturday afternoon, in fact.
Yeah. Some of the games, I understand, because of the heat, were being pushed ahead to 8 o'clock or something.
Yeah, and they say that extra 30 minutes or an hour, if you're going to kick at 7, to kick at 8, really makes a difference. And, the sun probably gets below the horizon, so it does make a difference. But I talked with Billy Seals last night, head coach of Huntington, on our high school sports line debut show for the season, and presented by Parmar Stores, by the way. And if I think he is an awful lot like all the coaches in the state. They know what they need to do to keep their kids hydrated, and they practice later in the evening than they really want to. He's practicing this week 6:30 to 8:30. Only because it's much cooler then.
Right, yeah.
Which means he gets to school. He told us he got to school at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and he gets home at 10 o'clock at night. But the safety of the kids is very important.
Sure, absolutely. How many years have you been covering high school football in the Mountain State, Fred?
51, 52.
51 or 52?
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
1971. Yeah. 52. Wow. Come to think of it, that's a long time, isn't it?
It just hit you.
It hit me all of a sudden. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. It's hard to believe. And we were talking last night. Dave Jekyll is my co-host, along with Joe Mercado on Wednesday night show. And then Dave and I do game night coming up tomorrow night. 22nd season starts tomorrow night. And throughout those years, those first 21 years, I've missed one show. Dave Jekyll's missed 2.
Right.
He missed one show 21 years ago when his daughter was being born.
Okay.
I said, go ahead.
That's a pass.
Go to the hospital. Okay. And then his wife was really sick in the hospital one other time.
Right.
And he took the night up. That's it. Hard to believe you have the same 2 guys hosting the show for 21, which will be now 22 years. And let alone the fact I've missed 1, he's missed 2. That's it.
That's it's amazing.
It doesn't happen.
So do you? I may have asked you this when we did the show with Speedy Bevins once before, but do you remember your first high school football game that you did?
I do.
Okay.
I do. And it was Beckley Woodrow Wilson and Charleston Catholic.
Here or there? Here meaning Charleston, or was it at Beckley?
It was at Beckley, Old Van Meter Stadium.
Okay.
Old Van Meter Stadium. Now they have a new Van Meter Stadium. This is Old Van Meter Stadium. And, remember it well.
Who won?
Charleston Catholic.
Okay.
6-0.
Okay.
Not good. Kept Beckley out of the playoffs.
Oh, really?
It did.
Okay.
Yeah. That's when they were taking 4 teams.
Right.
Not 16.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
You remember that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly right. So what do we expect from the upcoming season?
Talked with a lot of coaches getting ready for tomorrow night. Again, Billy Seals last night was our guest. John Lilly, who is the coach of Independence. They won it in AA last year. And talk with Chris Beck, who is the head coach of Williamstown. All 3 feel really good about this year. In fact, Billy Seals told me at the start of last season, he said, I think we'll be decent this year, but next year I'm going to be really, really good. Of course, he won it all last year, lost 1 game, first game of the season. Spring Valley beat them 29-28, and then they ran off 13 more. If he thought that this year was better than last year, I can't wait. He's got to replace a really good quarterback in Gavin Locko, but he feels real good about two guys that he's going to probably alternate back and forth. One's a runner, one's a passer. He's got the backfield back. He's got a lot of good stuff up front. Some big kids, as always, at Huntington High. So I think Huntington will be good in AAA. But with that said, I think there's a lot of good teams across the state. The 3 reigning state champs, they're all going to be good, but they're going to have some competition. I think it's going to be a great year for high school football. And we started last night.
Right, yeah.
First time, check this out. Doddridge County gets beat 34-14 by St. Mary's. St. Mary's has now won 11 in a row in that series, okay? First time since August 25th, 2017, Doddridge County's got a losing record.
Really?
Yes. They're
Wow.
0-1. August 25th, 2017, they got beat by the Hawks of South Harrison.
Right.
And that's, ever since then, they've always started out with a win. They've always had a winning season.
Wow.
Always had a winning record. Until now.
last night, till they met St. Mary's last night.
Really.
What about our Kanawha Valley teams? What do you expect from some of those? There's all this hoopla about Herbert Hoover because of the new stadium, rightly so, and the facilities and everything. But when I had Coach Fields on the show last week, he said, "Well, at the end of the day, this is all nice, but we still got to play."
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
so talk about Hoover or GW or South Charleston, any of these other teams in the area. What do you think?
I think there's a great game tonight on 58 WCHS in Hurricane and Winfield.
Yeah.
Hurricane's going to be very good.
Yes, they are.
Very, very
Yes,
good.
they are.
Donnie Mays has got a great ball club, but Winfield is going to be very good in the AA rank. So I fully expect Hurricane to win because they usually do, but it could be a really, really good football game. I think also George Washington's going to be good. Definitely. They open up against Cabell Midland. That's another game. That's a game that's been moved to 8 o'clock kick, by the way, on tomorrow night. But I think those two teams jump out at you as far as in the Valley area, if you will, around the state. Again, I think we're going to have some great, great football. First game of the season, you don't put who would have thought if Huntington gets beat last night, or Huntington got beat last year, first game of the season, you probably wouldn't have picked them to go ahead and win the state championship, but they did. So game one, who knows? You could see some upsets, if you will. We'll see how it goes on Friday night.
High school football is one of those really interesting things. One of probably the most interesting sport to me because you start out in the heat of summer,
right?
At the end of August, and then when you end up, whether it's the final game of the regular season or in the playoffs or in Wheeling Island Stadium, you end up sometimes in snow and sleet. It's one of the only sports that runs the gamut as far as weather goes.
No doubt about it.
It's amazing.
And you're outside, and it's what's great. Friday Night Lights, it means something. It really does. And now a lot of these teams, Beckley comes to mind. Last year they had the light show installed. Much like, I don't know if you've ever seen it at West Virginia State University where they have the lights.
Yes.
Same thing's going on now in high schools. Beckley has it now, and I mean, it's just fabulous to see the teams coming out under that light show or at halftime with the band. It's some good stuff. But high school football is what it's supposed to be, and that kind of brings communities together,
What about all these changes with transfer rule? Okay, I suddenly had to put Fred in a bad mood.
No, because
we'll close with this. Go ahead.
Okay, transfer rule, and I think good kudos to the WVSSAC and David Price. They've already had 5 schools that they have had to put some penalties against.
Slap on the wrist.
Slap on the wrist, if you will. So Nitro got more than a slap on the wrist. They got spanked pretty good. But I think they said it best. The transfer rule has always been in effect, okay? Always.
Yeah.
The recruiting rule is not, and that's where the coaches have been getting into trouble.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Ask me about 4 classes in high school.
Yeah.
No.
I've done that before.
I hate it. Not big enough.
There might be some people out there who don't know what that means. Transfer rule.
Oh, the transfer rule?
Yeah.
Any kid now in
That's Danny
you can
Jones,
transfer.
by the way.
You can transfer one time and go to a different school. Now, if you transfer and you don't like it, tough.
You're stuck.
That's it. You got one shot. Okay. That's got to be changed.
Yeah.
That has to be changed by the legislature.
You're fine, Danny.
It was changed this year.
I had a text here for you, Fred, that said, do you think St. Albans will win any games this year?
I hope so. I don't know.
Well, and I tell you, I did St. Albans football with the other guys over there, and with all due respect to them, Scott Tinsley was the head coach, followed by Nick Watts, both 2 quality guys.
No question.
it was rough come October or November when, it was tough. I wish the best for the Red Dragons. I really do. I hope they can turn it around. Text says, Dave, great to hear Fred on the program this morning. He's a legend. Thanks, Fred. Oh, look, it's signed Fred. Oh, well, how'd you do that?
I do that a lot. The delay with the new X thing, Twitter, you couldn't do it. With X, you can do it.
Fred will be listening. Okay, so we got you and Jacqueline tomorrow night. Right. Your 22nd year.
22nd year.
So we got, this always cracks me up. We got Jacqueline, we got Wilson, and we got Weekly. We need more Daves in this company, right? Or we need one less?
Well, we need a good Dave. How's that?
All of us together doesn't make up one good Dave. Fred.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
Love you, man. Appreciate you being here, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks a lot. Fred Persinger, the voice of high school sports in West Virginia. 580 Live is brought to you in part by QC Kinetics of Huntington and Cross Lanes. If that knee pain of yours getting worse, what about the pain in your shoulders or hips or back? If it is, get real lasting relief without surgery, drugs, or downtime. Call QC Kinetics 304-202-5566. QC Kinetics of Huntington and Cross Lanes. Danny, you got any? Danny Jones is here. We're going to talk to him a little bit before we go to break. Get any memories of high school football?
Yeah.
No, hold on. Ones you can say on the air, Danny.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to hear what happened in the car.
No, I was working at the. I was cooking at the Sterling restaurant. Uh-huh. It was my senior year. We played St. Albans, and the guys I cooked with were from St. Albans. Mm-hmm. So we got off work at 6 a.m, and then that afternoon we all met down to watch St. Albans beat GW 57-0.
Wow.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Were you big? You enjoyed going to the games. No. You're not a sports guy. You're not really a sports guy, are you? You're boxing.
I'm boxing, and I like football. Okay, yeah. But
you don't live it like I did.
When I was a kid, I was a baseball fanatic.
Yeah,
just the Baltimore Orioles and Brooks Robinson. And, Oh God.
Yeah,
he's still alive, isn't he, Fred? Yeah. So.
By the way, hold on a second. Go ahead.
By the way, Baltimore's in first place.
Yeah.
That's all right with me.
Our good friend Joe Stevens at the City of Nitro. That makes Joe very, very happy to know that his Orioles are in first place.
My dad and I boycotted Baltimore after they moved to Indianapolis, and he was from there.
No, we're talking about football now, right?
He was from Baltimore.
Okay.
Baltimore County.
All right. Fred, I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. Danny Jones is with us. Say what we'll do. We'll go ahead and take a break because I want to talk about the GOP debate last night, but also want to get Danny's take on the situation with former police chief, now Lieutenant Tyke Hunt, here in the city of Charleston. So, Danny, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're back after this. 580 Live, presented in part by Hudson's Pizza. This month, get yourself a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an order of cheese sticks. Only $21.99 for locations. To place an order or for delivery, visit Hudson'sPizza.com. We're back after this. 580 Live, brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group on the voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you looking for a technical job in the medical field? Generations is growing and looking to add on job-trained physical therapy techs to our rehab team. To apply, visit one of our 7 convenient locations or simply click on us at generationspt.com.
Get ready for the ultimate summer savings at the new Thornhill Toyota Celebration. Hey, it's Sydney, inviting you to the Thornhill Motor Mile to take advantage of our red, white, and vroom savings. Upgrade your ride with unbeatable deals on our top models, from the sleek Camry to the versatile RAV4 or the all-new Tacoma. We have the perfect car for your summer adventures. You can drive away with a smile on your face and money in your pocket. Click or come by ThornhillToyotaWV.com or US 119 in Chapmanville for the summer celebration. See Thornhill for full details.
Having issues with your home like wet basements, water in your crawl space, bowing or leaning walls, or foundation cracks? You need Foster Construction, your foundation repair experts. Locally owned and operated, Foster Construction offers free inspections and estimates and has a licensed professional engineer on staff. Their services include basement and crawl space waterproofing, foundation repair, and retaining walls. Call 304-776-6263 and get started today. Online at FosterConstructionWV.com. Foster Construction. They'll fix it right the first time.
If it's not cost-effective for your business to maintain an in-house IT staff, then let Comax Business Systems be your complete IT consulting service solution. By outsourcing IT services, you free up yourself and your staff for revenue-generating opportunities. Comax can provide an IT help desk with 24/7 support, server and PC management and monitoring, IT strategy, backup servers, and a client portal to help keep track of everything. Call Comax Business Systems for a free quote today. Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years.
Hey, Do you want to score Lana Del Rey concert tickets? Then tune into Hotline for a chance to win. We're giving away 2 tickets daily all week long. Just register at WCHSnetwork.com/tickets by Friday. It's easy. Each day, one lucky winner will be chosen to play the Hotline Too Easy to Fail quiz between 3 and 6 in the afternoon. Visit WCHSnetwork.com/tickets. Don't miss your shot at an unforgettable Lana Del Rey concert experience from the voice of Charleston, 580 WCHS.
580 Live is presented in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Birds back at home tonight at Gomart Ballpark to take on Frederick. Dirty Birds playing using their Spanish identity tonight, plus it's college night and $1 beer night, too. For more, visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com. Danny Jones, former mayor, is with us right now. Let's start with the GOP debates last night. I'm sure you watched. I actually managed to stay awake and watch the whole thing last night.
I usually don't stay awake that late.
But I did last night.
I watched it all. I didn't do the spin room afterwards.
No, I didn't either.
Sean came on, I packed it in.
Well, that's normally what I do when Sean comes on anyway. So, but anyway, go ahead.
But you look across the stage, and you got to say who occupied the space,
mm-hmm.
and who was it negative or positive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Vivek Ramaswamy.
Mm-hmm.
When you've got as much time on your hands as I do, you drill down on stuff.
Right, yeah.
And I saw a lot of interviews with him, and I think he's dangerous. I mean, and just what Nikki Haley said last night, he is anti-Israel. He wants to give Ukraine to Putin. Not to count me out on this.
Yeah. Well, he lost me when he said on day one, I'm going to pardon Trump. That's where he lost me.
Well, first thing, if you there's actually some case law on that.
Uh-huh.
The person is supposed to be contrite and accept responsibility from what they're doing, but this will all be tested. So
yeah.
He doesn't impress me even a little bit. He occupied a lot of space. Maybe a little bit of it positive. For me, all of it was negative.
Well, Chris Christie owned him a couple of times.
I liked him. Now let's move across the stage. Asa Hutchins is a wonderful guy.
Yeah,
he'd be a good attorney general.
Yep. Yeah,
he needs to move on.
Yeah,
he's just not going to occupy the space.
No, neither is the governor of North Dakota.
And I heard a live interview with him this morning on the radio, not some canned TV thing, and it was an elongated interview. He's the most substantive candidate on the stage.
I've read that as well.
I mean, he is so good, but he's not going to get anywhere.
All right. Well, who is, in your opinion? Was there a winner last night? Let me ask you that. Was there a winner last night?
DeSantis.
Do you think so?
Well, and there are a lot of people disagree. I bet a lot of people out here disagree. But I can criticize DeSantis, but he was ready. The problem with him, and Dave, you're a radio guy, he needs to realize with the electronics, you don't need to get all excited.
Yeah.
Let the electronics do the work for you, because he looks like he's talking in between matches on the WWE. You be there, we'll be there.
Yeah.
In the Omni at Atlanta.
He's an excitable guy.
I mean, he thinks everything has to be it's us versus them, and it doesn't.
What about Pence? What about Pence listening?
Pence is a good man. In other words, if you go across the stage, who gained even a little traction over over where they were before the debate, he would be one person. So would Nikki Haley. But he's not going to be nominated.
Points to Nikki Haley for the Margaret Thatcher reference last night when what she said there, and I don't remember exactly what it was. Basically, it was something to the effect: if you want something said, you call a man. If you want something done, you call a woman. That got a big pop out of the crowd last night.
I like her. I don't think she's going to win.
No, I don't think so either.
But maybe she'd be Secretary of State or something.
Yeah.
She's honed her foreign policy chops a little bit in the United Nations, and who knows?
I mean, is there anybody on? I mean, Trump is up in some polls by 40%. Is there Tim Scott? Well, you haven't mentioned Tim Scott. Any thoughts on Tim Scott?
He didn't shine. I
didn't think he did.
I don't know anybody that doesn't like him.
Yeah.
The New York Times calls him the happy warrior. It's a very liberal newspaper.
Yes, it is.
And I like him, but if I could whisper in his ear, I'd say, Tim, why don't you support the lady who put you in the Senate?
Okay.
Your governor, Nikki Haley.
So DeSantis was the winner in your opinion?
In my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion. In other words, he was better Of course, the expectations for him were low because he's been getting beat up.
Basically dormant, for the last several months.
Yeah, but
and then Trump goes and he at the same time he's doing an interview with Tucker Carlson there,
and it was funny. I saw a little. No, I saw a little bit of it this morning, and Trump can be funny.
Oh, he can. Yeah.
But today he's going to be arraigned in another courtroom,
and he's going to be fingerprinted and weighed and the whole thing. And there's actually betting in Vegas on what he's going to weigh in. Literally, there's props on that right now. Yeah. I mean, they're little. So what's going to happen? I want to get to Ty Cunt, but what's going to happen in that situation with Trump? I mean, overall, we can bring it. We can revisit and have you on some other time. What's going to happen?
I think he's going to be, if they can get him in the dock, he's going to be convicted in some courtroom somewhere. Now, interestingly, David, his down in Port Lucie, Florida, where the documents case. That, to me, seems like the easiest case. It's concise, but that's the place where he could get a MAGA person on the jury. Yeah. I mean, because it's a very Republican area. It only takes one juror, and this is the highest profile case since O.J. Simpson, and it'll be more so.
Yeah,
with the stakes are going to be so high, and these MAGA folks are going to be trying to get on that jury.
I agree.
The case I think that's the most important case for me is the January 6th case. And it should not be in D.C., maybe Northern Virginia. Of course, I'd love for him to bring it here to Charleston.
Well, I mean, I thought it was laughable when they said we're going to bring it to West Virginia. I mean, I'm like you, economic impact. I'm all about that. Let's bring it to West Virginia.
Harper's Ferry is not far from it.
But, I mean, is it really going to be fair and impartial if it's in West Virginia? I mean,
in the Panhandle? And
maybe.
Not the Eastern Panhandle.
Maybe.
Not the Northern Panhandle.
Yeah, the other Panhandle.
The Eastern Panhandle, maybe.
All right, let me get this text in before we move on. Text says that Vivek wants us, Ramaswamy wants us to raise the voting age to 25. He also wants mandatory military service while he himself didn't serve in the military. He's 36 years old, so he could have gone to Iraq or Afghanistan, but chose to be a finance and tech bro instead. The guy's a snake.
He absolutely is. And he, that's one of my big objections to Donald Trump. He graduated from a military school. Don't give me this bone spurs crap.
Yeah.
He should have gone in the military like everybody else did of his generation. Not only did he dodge the military, he defamed and demeaned the people that did go on the red carpet, step across the line, and serve their country.
Yeah, you're right. And that's what I simply don't understand, that West Virginia, being the kind of military state that we are, more people per capita have died in West Virginia than any other state, how we can support Donald Trump, and I voted for the guy twice, okay? How we can support Donald Trump based on that alone. I don't know what the hell I was thinking back
It's
then.
an act of faith.
Yeah.
You put the person first. He's the deity, and everything else revolves around it. So
580 Live, presented in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Whether you're replacing a roof, remodeling a kitchen, or replacing a bathroom, to keep it safe and keep it legal, get with Pinnacle Consultants. They can inspect your site, collect samples, perform lab analysis, and provide results within a week, testing all renovations for mold, asbestos, and lead. It's the law in West Virginia. Visit pinnaclecorp.net for Pinnacle Consultants, because what you don't know can't hurt you. Ty Cunt, Mayor.
He betrayed his office. He betrayed the other officers. He betrayed the citizens of Charleston. He betrayed the city council that stood with him, most of them. And he betrayed Mayor Goodwin, who stood with him through this whole thing. And he should resign now. He is of no use as a police officer. If, in fact, he did manipulate a lie box, if he did manipulate a polygraph machine to have sex on the floor or in the couch or wherever it was, after the machine was done to get this young lady, who I swore in, by the way, and to get her on the department, he's not fit to be a police officer. What kind of witness would he make? Can you imagine the cross-examination? Excuse me, Mr. Hunt, didn't you used to be the police chief? And you was a polygraph operator? Tell me about this young lady. Did you I mean, can you imagine what that would be like?
Right.
He's betrayed everybody, and he should go. And you know what, David? I took up for him. I'm not sure if I did it on this show, but I know I did it on Hoppy's show. And I was on the road. I'd been out to California, and I was driving. And I called him. And I don't like to mess around in Mayor Goodwin's business. She's the mayor, not me. But I called him because I had the opportunity to take up for him. And I said, Tyke, are there any more women? And he said to me, no, sir, Mayor, absolutely not. And I took him at his word. And he lied to me. Now, he could have said the easiest thing to do would have just said, you know what, Mayor, I'm told not to talk about this now with all this going on and everything. And I said, okay. And I wouldn't have gone on Hoppy to take up for him. It would have, but he's not fit to be a police officer, if that's true. And that young lady, I reached out to her, sent her a message on Facebook and told her how sorry I was that everything happened to her. But Kenny Bass gave her 15 minutes on the TV. I mean, it's like a talk show. It was, to me, it was riveting, and I thought she was credible. And I don't know what anybody else thought, but he's not fit to be a police officer.
Text says, wasn't Danny Jones one of the guys pushing the Tyke Hunt is an exemplary officer narrative? Should be interesting to see what he says. This came in before you came in.
I said that. I did say that. And when I was there, he was, or at least what I knew of him, he was. And to the council members, and that's why I said he was an exemplary officer. He gave the appearance of such. And the council stood up for him, and the mayor stood up for him. And that's the ultimate betrayal to who appointed him to be the police chief. And it's dead wrong. It's just dead wrong.
952 580 Live is brought to you part by Generations Physical Therapy. 7 convenient locations along I-64, and they're hiring for both licensed and technically trained staff. For more information, visit generationspt.com. More with Danny Jones coming up from the Parmar Store Studio. 580 Live, brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses care for your family.
Thrive with 5 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 5%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by a Poca Valley Bank location today or call 844-782-2651. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
Get ready for the ultimate summer savings at the new Thornhill Toyota Celebration. Hey, it's Sydney, inviting you to the Thornhill Motor Mile to take advantage of our red, white, and vroom savings. Upgrade your ride with unbeatable deals on our top models, from the sleek Camry to the versatile RAV4 or the all-new Tacoma. We have the perfect car for your summer adventures. You can drive away with a smile on your face and money in your pocket. Click or come by ThornhillToyotaWV.com or US 119 in Chapmanville for the summer celebration. See Thornhill for full details.
Reckless big government policies are putting the American dream out of reach. We all know Washington is broken, but it doesn't have to be. Senator Joe Manchin could be part of the solution if he stood up for West Virginia values. Instead, he voted with Joe Biden on the Inflation Reduction Act, which led to higher taxes, trillions in new spending, and tens of thousands of new IRS agents. Tell Joe Manchin, Mountaineers want real, common sense solutions. To learn more, visit prosperityispossible.com. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
580 Live, presented in part by Meeks Realty Group. Our area's most beautiful properties deserve the finest realtors. Meeks Realty Group. Visit them online, meeks.us, or call 304-440-1101. Danny Jones is here. Text says, Dave, isn't it interesting that we didn't hear about Chief Hunt's scandal and suspension when it happened around April 2022 and before the mayoral election of November 2022?
I could argue either side. It's personnel. And if that's, well, I want to be careful here.
Easy now.
I would have cut him loose then. I just said, Tyke, we're going to do this quietly. You're going back in the ranks, and all this doesn't have to come up. And he could have probably stayed down. I'm not sure that other young lady would have come out. The young lady I swore in. I'll tell you a quick story about that.
Okay.
You know, you see all the tats she had on her arms, and she stood up there sleeveless, and there's all that ink. And I hope she doesn't mind me using her name. She's a captain now. Autumn Davis was sitting out there. She's her build, her size, and she had a coat on. And I said, let's go back here to my office. And I got Autumn. I said, Autumn, do you mind if she wore your jacket while she's getting sworn in? And Autumn said, fine. And I swear that the jacket she sworn in was the jacket of a police officer, because I thought if her family member was taking pictures, they may be somebody that didn't want to be distracted. The ink's distracting to me.
We're just old, Danny.
I'm 73 years old, so that kind of stuff I'm still not used to.
I'm 53, neither am I. Text says, Dave, absolutely amen to Mayor Danny Jones. First honest voice in the police chief issue yet. It's troubling that Mayor Goodwin is tanking her reputation and credibility over a corrupt, lying cop.
Look, she knew what I knew, and I'm sure she was told what I was told, and I backed him. So I back her on this one.
I was going to say, what did you see because you did you hire
Tyke? Yeah,
you hired him. What did you see in him?
Perfect. Mm-hmm. He's not a tall guy, but he's erect. Has perfect posture. He has good mannerisms. Mm-hmm. Very professional.
Oh yeah, he's been on the show several times.
His demeanor, and there was a public figure that came in my office. A former public figure came in my office one morning at 10:30, and he was drunk, and he was a former mayor from a long time ago, and he demanded I fix a ticket. And he was drunk, 10:30 in the morning. And I knew he was going to go out and get in his car in the garage. I said, Tyke, I want you to go out there and arrest him. As soon as he backs out, arrest him for DUI. And he did. Mm-hmm. And that guy, I'm serious. I'm a little more serious about drunk driving than maybe I should be. Mm-hmm. People get killed doing that. So
yeah. So what? You're saying that you think that Tyke Hunt should resign completely from the police department?
Yeah, he's no good as a witness, David.
Yeah,
and he's no good. A lieutenant? Are you kidding me? He's in other words, he's going to have a sergeant under him and all these police officers under him. He's not. Let me tell you something else. He'll be decertified. Yeah, the police officers get certification. You pull a stunt like this, you lose your decertification, which means you cannot be a police officer anywhere.
In any small town or whatever.
Now, the good news is, and I learned this from the first accuser, that he has a construction company, but he will lose his pension. He will get paid back all the money he puts in, which will come somewhere between $100,000 and $200,000. I don't think he could survive this as a police officer, and that's my feeling.
What should the mayor do, in your opinion? I know you don't like to get into Mayor Goodwin's business, but what should the mayor or those in charge, what should they do at this point?
I think that he's going to have a lawyer, and her lawyer, Kevin Baker, is that his name?
Yeah, City Attorney Kevin Baker, yeah.
I think Kevin Baker should have communicated to his lawyer, it's time to go, and this is not going to get any this is just going to be nothing but dirt the whole way in, and unless you want to get in the mud. And I think he's not dumb. I mean, he needs to go, and she can communicate through her lawyer. I think he's already demeaned her enough, quite frankly. Mm-hmm. He should go.
Former Mayor Danny Jones, always a pleasure to have you on the show, sir.
Thanks for not smoking.
I don't know why he says that, but okay. All right, we'll talk again soon, man. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Go make us some food. Coming up on the show tomorrow, Friday Funhouse. Guest co-host tomorrow will be Charleston Radio and DJ legend JK the DJ on the show tomorrow. Plus our Adopt Me Please Pet of the Week and some high school football about our game tomorrow night. Chris Lawrence will stop by. What about wine and art walk? People are all upset because they can't have wine and art walk anymore. We're going to talk about that on the show tomorrow as well. Ryan Nichols and our producer Dave Wilson coming up with Talk Line. I will see you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM, 96.5 FM Charleston, and 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.